Thanks for being ungoogleable, like our channel. And if you weren't aware, we indeed do it on purpose. Now, we used to have this section of the video spliced in, but now we're doing it separately because of software concerns. So welcome to the That is an Ass and That is a Hole in the Ground section of the video. Were you aware that Google is a massive scam, is being sued by the U.S. presidential campaign of Tulsi Gabbard for electioneering, and is scamming billions of people around the world and wasting our time on a daily basis? If you're using Google as a verb, please stop. It makes my ears bleed. Since Google is a scam and not a verb, if you're using it as a verb, what it means is to obtain biased and subjective search results using the Google search engine. Now, let's talk about the internet. Dear Big Tech, you can't break the internet, but the internet can break you. Let's move on to some news stories, such as super deep diamonds confirm the fact that humans do not know what the Earth is made of. Humans do not know what the Earth is made of. Humans do not know what is going on inside the sun. Humans do not understand the way planetary physics works, as all of these geologic models are based on gravitational accretion models of astrophysics. That's why they're wrong, folks. Anyway, we're going to leave links to this article about these deep diamonds, as this led me into a deep dive, as I know some things that your average folks may not know. Let's talk about some deep stuff. The deepest hole ever drilled is known as the Kola ultra-deep drill hole, located in former Soviet Union. Now this thing was about 7+ miles deep, and there was some odd stuff that happened when they got to the 7.5 mile mark. And we'll leave links to this article also from damninteresting.com. And it's damned interesting that humans do not understand what is inside of the planet. Now, they found it strange that there was a bunch of hydrogen bubbling out of the mud at the bottom of this hole. And let's just say Dr. Pierre-Marie Robitaille probably has a better clue as to what was going on there than your average geologist. Now let's look at the accepted belief of the structure of the Earth, which, by the way, I don't think is correct. And I'm not going to comment on what I think is inside the Earth on this video. However, I would note that they were only able to get to about 2/3 of their goal with this particular drilling project, the Kola Ultra Deep Drill Hole. And the lower crust seemed to have some properties that were unexpected, such as unexpected temperature rises. And let's just say, if you understand the theories of Dr. Robitaille, you will absolutely understand why hydrogen was bubbling out of the, I guess you'd call it the lower crust. Anyway, this model of the structure of the planet is incorrect, and I'm not going to say anything else, as these are all theories based on gravitational accretion being the primary force that forms things like planets and stars and galaxies. However, it's not. These things all form on ionization pathways, not on gravitational accretion disks, as we see zero observational evidence of these layers of the planet or of gravitational accretion ever occurring in nature. Now let's talk about another hole, and this hole is Wells Fargo, which is a money hole, and it's the worst bank that I know of, although I'm sure there are worse ones in other countries. Turns out they've been charging thousands of dollars in overdraft fees to closed accounts. Now, Wells Fargo's been implicated in all kinds of scams. Xavier Einaudi racked up nearly $1,500 in overdraft fees on an account that's been closed. Now, Wells Fargo's been doing all kinds of scams, such as opening fake credit card accounts to increase their apparent bottom line. I don't know how the board of directors is not already on trial for this. We'll put a link to this video in the description after we're done uploading it. So yeah, read the article about Wells Fargo, and if you have an account there, let's just say I've closed out my accounts and I'm not going to give you any financial advice today. But I will say that Wells Fargo is an utterly incompetent bank and purveyor of fraud. They've already paid more than $15 billion in settlements to resolve its investigations into misdeeds, including the ones described above and other scandals. Wells Fargo, probably the crookedest bank in the U.S., and if not, certainly the most incompetent one I've ever dealt with. Let's talk about polyphenols. Polyphenols are a polyhydroxylphenol, especially an antioxidant phytochemical. And if you weren't aware of our daily cup of coffee, it contains coffee, coconut oil, because we need fats in order to absorb these molecules, cocoa powder, a massive source of polyphenols, in addition to the coffee itself, and cayenne pepper, another source of massive antioxidants. Now let's talk about Mercola.com. They got an article here about polyphenols. We will link this in the description also. What they are and why you need them. Well, where do you think they come from? Well, they come from places like pecans, hazelnuts, black olive, capers, blackcurrant, blueberries, thyme, spearmint, rosemary, dried sage, chestnut seeds, black elderberry, flaxseed meal, dark chocolate, celery seeds, Mexican oregano, which I've never heard of, raw cacao, which goes in our coffee every morning, star anise, peppermint, and cloves. What does it do? Well, it does stuff like promote normal blood pressure, protect your cardiovascular system, support normal blood sugar levels, reduce inflammation, promote brain health, protect against dementia, fight free radicals, and the appearance of aging, as well as protecting your skin versus UV, a common concern in people that don't understand atmospheric physics. But most importantly, it fights cancer cells and inhibits angiogenesis, the growth of blood cells that feed a tumor. Now, also a high sugar diet is super unhealthy. So if you get rid of the sugar and you add polyphenols, you might be able to cure yourself. So anyway, again, we'll leave links to the article. Mercola.com understands the real science and will not rip you off in any way. They'll just provide great, useful information. Now, let's do one more story here from medicalexpress.com. Were you aware that when your coach says something bad to you at halftime at a basketball game, you're better off getting negative feedback from the coach than positive feedback? Sounds pretty crazy, right? Well, turns out that it's true according to this study. We'll leave links to that article also. Turns out folks seem to play better when the coach tells them, even if you're winning at halftime, the coach tells you that you could be doing even better than this, gives you negative feedback at halftime. Turns out something happens there. So anyway, read the article about the winning coach's locker room secret, because it's kind of important. And remember, the placebo effect is quite real. Anyway, folks, thanks again for being the ungoogleable masses. We're thinking about getting some merch made, perhaps a t-shirt with this graphic right here on it. Please leave a comment if you're interested in one. Probably be about a $18 to $20 price point on this. We are considering a lot of other designs here, as we're super interested in creating some merch to help support our channel. So thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks, donors. Please don't forget to visit the links below the video to help support the channel if you enjoy the content. Enjoy your weekend, and enjoy the new format. We will be back to live streaming eventually, but until then, best wishes, folks. Thanks again, donors. Enjoy your Saturday.